Hey there guys, what's going on? It's Gale right here, back on the 5-9 channel, and we're here to finally review MHA's first and second episode, or I should say episode 0 and episode 1. If you guys want to see more of this, leave a like down below, comment down below what do you guys think of the first 2 episodes you've seen, of course. I mean, some of you might not have seen the recap episode. It was actually quite enjoyable. It was an anime original. And of course, episode 1, if you have seen it, let us know. And subscribe for more anime-related content. And of course, just general gaming on the 5-9 channel. Today with me, we have the Platinum Chin to do the first 2 episode review. Say hello, my G.
What's up, guys?
And there we go. A bit more enthusiastic than the ReZero review, mind you. Good job. We're getting there. We'll get more out of you soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, MHA review time. Of course, this is one of the more anticipated shows of this season. I think, of course, this season is kind of diluted compared to how winter season was. I mean, we had AOT, ReZero, we had Dr. Stone, we had Jujutsu Kaisen, Promised Neverland, even though Promised Neverland ended in a very, very difficult way. This season is a bit more diluted. We have, of course, MHA, we have Shaman King coming out, and so on and so forth. So there is some interesting shows. Obviously, MHA is scheduled to be 25 episodes long based on a Blu-ray listing. So we will be here for another 2 seasons at least in terms of the spring season and the summer season. So be on the lookout for these episodic reviews. But let's start. How did you find the... let's start off with episode 0. May as well, right? How did you find episode 0, Chin?
I liked it. I mean, we had talked about this a bit. I was watching it and I was like, I don't remember this in the manga at all.
Yeah.
Is my memory like bad or something? I don't remember this, but you know, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good way to recap all the heroes. I love that in My Hero in general. I love the season recap because I don't know, it just makes me think of season 1 all over again every time they reintroduce the characters. Although I noticed a difference in like the text in the text on how they introduced them.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Although I skipped last season because I just read the manga, I don't know if they changed the text for that one as well.
No.
But it looks different than I usually remember it looking. But I really enjoyed it.
I think it might have been just because it was the recap episode and that's why it must be different. I mean, we'll obviously find out as we go along in the upcoming episodes and see if they'll do the quirk thing again for everybody, you know, saying, oh, this is this quirk, this is that quirk again, like they usually do, right? So it'll be very interesting to see. Obviously, season 4 had that already, but I think that's also one of the reasons why they did this whole. They did a different style of a recap episode this time around, and I personally also liked it a lot. It was an anime original and everything. It wasn't in the manga, hence why Chin was like, "Wait, I didn't remember this," and I was like, "Yeah, it's an anime original." But I think they also did this because I think a lot of people have kind of questioned why are we still seeing people. It's like saying, you know, going into Dragon Ball Z and the next episode it's like Goku Saiyan, and it's like, yes, we know he's a Saiyan, you don't need to tell us that again and again, right? So I think that's kind of the reason why they wanted to get it out in the first episode, and so that they might not do it in future episodes, but we'll have to see that. But yeah, I agree with you on that one, Chin. This was probably the first time I actually enjoyed the recap episodes. Usually I'm kind of like, after season 3 and season 4 I kind of skipped it, to be honest. I was like, I'm not too interested. Season 2 was great, but season 3 and 4 I was kind of like, okay, I know what's happened now, I don't need to go back.
Exactly. Well, my thing was I was like, ooh, cool, I don't really need to watch, you know, if there's anything in the anime that wasn't in the manga, I'm like, cool, I'll get recapped on the recap episode.
Exactly.
And there was no recap, and I was like, they're supposed to show stuff from the past episode, right? The only thing they showed was Endeavor, which was I loved that recap, that was cool. But the whole hero exercise I thought was just way more fun to start off the entire season. I loved it. I loved it.
It's a great way for people to be introduced to these new characters and kind of allow them to just jump in without much context. I mean, you still need to have context, and hence why, you know, the whole Endeavor scene happened and whatnot, so there is still some context with it, but you could easily just jump in with these characters knowing what they do and be like, okay, this is their name, this is what they do, go on, kind of thing. I mean, there was still also some fantastic scenes with the big 3 as well in there, you know, Tamaki and Mirio and Neijir. All of them were phenomenal. Like, I love Tamaki. Just,
it was funny.
Everybody's just going like, what do you want to do, villain? Because what they did was they pitted Class 1A against the big 3 basically in a training exercise. And Tamaki was supposed to be the villain along with Neijir. And it was like, why are you here? And Tamaki's just like, I just want to go home. And it was, I was like, bro, come on, that's just hilarious, bro. I love Tamaki, man. Tamaki's
so
great.
funny. And I love the way they draw Mirio in his face.
Oh, Mirio is great, man.
He just looks so funny. He just looks so funny.
I keep calling him
Tintin. His head floating in the water.
I just call him Tintin.
He is Tintin.
He's basically Tintin. I mean, yeah,
it's just so funny.
I call him Tintin sometimes. I just call him Mirio otherwise. But yeah, Tintin was great as well, where he's just like floating in the river, just like, I need help, save me, please.
He's like, oh no, I guess I washed away again. And they're like, you're doing that on purpose.
Like, stop doing it. But it was great, man. It was a fun episode. It was really enjoyable. Like, I really hope that if they do, obviously I assume there will be more seasons of MHA. There's no doubt about it, of course. I really hope if they do recap episodes, it better be stuff like this, because these are the more enjoyable styles of doing a recap, where it's like, it's not a full recap, but it gives enough context and, you know, allows people to know the characters again if they don't remember them, or if they haven't revisited the anime in a very long time. It's a great way to go about it. But that's episode.
I like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, I like that. I like that it's a recap of the characters, not the recap of every story point that's happened in the last season. I'm like, cool, let me refresh the characters and we can go on.
And yeah, I mean, it's a way, like, if you wanted to get the recap done, you could just go watch the previous season, kinda, right? I mean, there's two ways to go about it. Let us know what your thoughts are on episode 0. How did you find it in terms of a recap? Did you like it? Did you think they should just do the old style, or just don't do a recap episode? Obviously, it'll be interesting to see your thoughts in the comments. Of course, we go into episode 1 now, the meat and taters, the first episode of the season, obviously. And we obviously start with the immediate aftermath of what happened last season. Of course, let's talk a bit about last season. Of course, we had the whole overhaul arc, of course, with Deku, Overhaul, and Eri, which was great. It became a bit iffy towards the end, I mean, in my opinion, with Overhaul. But overall, just in general, it was a great, good, enjoyable arc. Really enjoyed the characters over time.
It felt rushed at the end, personally. I feel like it just came to its climax like way too quickly. That was like my only dissatisfaction with it. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. The
festival arc was great as well. I think the festival arc, in my opinion, has probably been a bit the most enjoyable one, because it felt a bit more scaled down. Like, I don't mind this big scale fights. I think, you know, having experienced Dragon Ball Z and whatnot, it's been great. But seeing the scaled down fight finally, because you have to remember, these are students. Seeing them in like city level scale fights or anything bigger than that is just like, why? Because they're still students. They shouldn't be in those kinds of situations, right? And seeing them again and again, time and again, being in those situations, it's like, all right, we get it, but can we get some low scale fights, right? And finally, we saw that with the whole Gentle situation. It wasn't the big blown out thing. It was still like within UA, kind of, not necessarily completely, but kind of within UA, which was great for me personally, and I really enjoyed that. And of course, we saw.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then of course we saw the #1 fight against the Nomu, which was, I mean, outside of some interesting like scenes with the plank endeavor in the middle of the air, which was great, which was a great pic, like still image that people got, but. It was really good fight. It was a really well done fight, well animated. Bones did a great job again, and of course, leading out of that fight. Actually, before we go out of that fight, what were your thoughts about that whole Endeavor Nobu fight as a whole, Chin? I know you watched it, so let me know what you think.
I did watch it. I loved it. I loved that fight. That felt like such a treat, a necessary treat, right? I mean. He's stepping into his role as the #1 hero. What better way than to nearly get his butt whooped by a Nomu? I mean, it was awesome. Yeah. It was really awesome. It definitely had good direction as far as the story goes. You know, like some animes just fight to fight. Well, you know, and you can't really look at this fight that way because there's just so much deepness into My Hero, and especially manga readers know how deep it really goes, and it's just very layered out, and I just like it. And it was just a good fight too. It was the animation was beautiful.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I loved it.
It was great. It was well done. It was absolutely well done. But yeah, out of that fight, I should say. I keep saying leading into the fight. Leading out of that fight, we see obviously Endeavor immediately at the hospital, which was fair. But then we see a quick flashback to right after that fight where Darby arrives, and Darby and him and Hawks basically have a bit of a to and fro. And some things keep coming up that make me question who Darby is exactly, you know? Darby keeps saying, you know, Endeavor has to live, you know, he's the #1 hero and whatnot. And it makes me think he has obviously a certain grudge against Endeavor, it feels like, the way he spoke and whatnot. There obviously is this whole situation of Endeavor's eldest son as well, Toya Todoroki, who is obviously, we assume to be dead at this point, right? There's been this whole thing of like him being dead and whatnot. Do you think there is a chance Darby might be Toya?
I mean,
because you have to remember
fired,
this
right?
similar powers as well.
Similar powers.
Yeah.
Obviously they showed, like, in the episode, they're like, hey, I'm a fire guy too, I love Endeavor, but it's like it's the level of power he has behind his things. I never thought to make that connection. I don't know why. I just never did. I was like, another villain, but it makes, I don't know, the way they talked, the way they speak, the way they spoke to each other, his powers, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the direction it took. I actually like that. I really like that idea.
I'm obviously, I haven't read the manga completely, neither has Shin, but I do know certain names and whatnot, but I haven't seen anything regarding Darby or if anything's been revealed yet. But like, I mean, hey, it would be an amazing, like, I genuinely kind of, as much as I obviously like it being, obviously the Deku being the main focus, I really do like this side story going on with Shoto and the Todoroki family entirely, right? And if Darby comes in and messes things up as well, that's gonna be intense as well, you know? If you know, this abused son who's presumed dead because of something gone wrong during training or whatever, and, you know, Endeavor is abusing of his children, has actually had a absolutely negative effect to the point where one of his own has become a villain, right? To take down Endeavor is going to be an insane like circle of, or an arc, I should say, right? But yeah, let us know in the comment section down below what do you think about that. The next thing we find out is that Hawks is a member of the League of Villains, or so we thought.
Yeah.
Of course, I feel this could have been extended a bit more, is that obviously we see Hawks meeting up with Darby quite literally immediately, to where they're discussing, like, you know, Hawks is like, I didn't know you were bringing the Nomu this early on, and then Darby was like, why were you helping him, and why did you save so many civilians, and so on and so forth, and this back and forth, where Hawks is effectively trying to get Darby's trust to get him into the League of Villains, right? One thing I really did not like in the episode personally, and that's to me, is like, I feel like it should have just been left that, oh, Hawks is actually trying to be a bad guy, and then maybe in the end we would have seen a twist that he's actually a real mole. Seeing it this early on was kind of like, all right, that's cool. I really like Hawks' backstory and everything of his, you know, his journey to becoming a hero and whatnot, and him finding out the reason why he's becoming this mole, because, you know, he doesn't want the fame or recognition, he just wants to be a hero, which is great. I really like that. That's great. Like, I know we only had like 1 or 2 episodes with Hawks last season, so seeing more of Hawks is gonna be great. But
he's so cool.
He's super cool, I must admit. Like, so
cool.
I love him as a #2 hero. He's fantastic. But yeah,
he's so cool.
I just wish it would have been like cool. Like, people would have disliked him immediately and everything, and then people would have like, oh, this is great. This is a great arc for him as well. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Chin? Do you think they should have made that reveal later on in the season, or maybe in the future, rather than like, oh, I tried to help you out, and then, oh no, never mind, I'm a mole for the heroes.
I think it could have been a little spicier if they had saved it for later. Now, I didn't finish. This is. I didn't get too much past this season in the manga, so I don't know. But, you know, you can always speculate that maybe him being a mole is something that's going to change his outlook on things. I mean, the longer he's in there, the more he learns. Maybe, you know, I don't know where it goes with Hawk. I have no idea. Maybe he turns his back on the heroes in the end. Maybe that's the twist. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there is a reason they revealed it so soon. Rather than it just being like, we just, you know, wanted to get out of the way now that he's, you know, a mole, and, you know, I feel like there's a reason. They're pretty well thought out with their story in this anime, which is
I mean, we'll have to see what Horikoshi brought up in the later halves of the manga for Hawks, because that's the whole point. Because I was like, I like it and I like the idea, but it would have been cooler if you didn't tell me he was a mole, right? That would have been like, oh damn, I hate you now again.
It would have been cooler. I would have hated you. Like, you look what you did. You caused this in the city. Like,
and then, of course, we immediately just obviously transition into a bit of like the Todoroki family again interacting. Endeavor's come back home. to his kids, basically Fuyumi, Natsuo, and Shoto is obviously at home. They're having dinner and interacting, and obviously Natsuo basically lashes at him again, saying like, you're trying to change, but we won't forget like what you've done when we were kids, right? And it's true, like that, obviously there's going to be the sins of the past, and that's why I'm coming back to the whole Dabi and Endeavor link, right? Is I'm interested to see if that goes anywhere, and if Dabi ends up being actually Todoroki's oldest son, right?
Yeah.
Because that would be like a huge, that would be a game changer in my opinion for the story as well. Like that would be sick. But yeah, then we move into back to Deku for a bit, considering half the episode was spent trying to look at the aftermath of what happened with the last arc in the last season, of course.
Yep.
We went back straight to Deku, one for all and all for one link, the vestiges, the dream he had. What do you think about this one, Shin? Seeing the past users of the one for all ability or quirk, you could say, as well as the original one for all and his link to all for one.
I mean, it kind of, it's weird because it brings more mystery, but also answers some questions about One for All. It was weird. Like it was a dream, but it wasn't. Yep. It wasn't it was a dream, but it was real. It was his actual, the past owners connecting through him to see the past of like the original one for the guy who got One for All from his brother, All for One. Yeah. And again, like I don't know exactly where this goes, so I'm just like, does he get a stronger link with these people? Yep. Like, was All Might able to just talk to these people whenever as well? Like, maybe I don't. There's just so many questions I have now, and I want to see more. And the writers do it because they're like, we want to show. Like even the guy who had One for All is like, I want to show you more, but just know we're here with you all the time. And I'm like, well, tell me more. don't leave it like this. Tell me more now.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you. I think it was kind of Avatar-esque, I suppose is the best way to put it. Very similar as like how the Aang meets all the previous avatars at points, and it felt very similar here as well. Like Deku potentially meeting obviously excluding All Might, of course, because he's still alive, thankfully. Yeah, he's not dead. But yeah, he's being able to see all the previous users. He couldn't see, I think, the second and third users of One for All. For some reason, they looked they looked like they were just outlines. They didn't have any face to them or anything, whereas we could see everybody from Nana onwards down, pretty much.
Yep.
And of course, the original user. And then we saw, obviously, All for One and his motivations. Very interesting, to be honest. Like, he was trying to... He basically tried to get people surrounding him or, under his control by giving them what they want. Which was, I mean, that's a very, very, I mean, that's what most villains do is like, kind of like, very smart villains, I should say. Like, kind of like, for example, Lord Voldemort and the Death Eaters and Harry Potter and so on, is like, you have this message / this idea / objective, and you try and appease people with it. And that's what he kind of did, which was extremely cool, in my opinion. I think that's a sign of a good villain as well, in my opinion.
Well, what the craziest thing about how he uses his powers is it wasn't just to make an army of super strong like monsters and stuff, basically people with like crazy powers, because one of the ways he got someone on his side was taking away his quirk entirely, so that he could be with his family. Like, he's maniacal. Like, yes, it's great. If you look at it, you're like, oh, he totally made that dude's lives better. But then, One for All pointed out, you didn't do that because you cared about him. You did it because you just want another lackey under your coat. Like, stop doing that. But it's crazy. And it's like, it's not only just because he'll only get one lackey that's powerful. He'll also get another lackey who's not powerful, but because he's part of the community, quote unquote, or civilization and the people, that's another person that can say like, oh, this guy's amazing, this guy's you need to keep this guy at the top or something, right? Because the more people you have that say, oh yeah, you're actually like somebody who can change the world or something, the more you get elevated into a higher pedestal effectively, which is really cool. So it's going to be interesting to see these ideals and what exactly is All for One's real aim, because it's definitely not to appease everybody, for sure, right? No,
we don't know what his exact motives are yet, right? It's very unclear in terms of what exactly it is, and we still don't know his true identity, to be fair as well. We just know his name is All for One, and it's Shigaraki is his name, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting to say the least, of course. And we'll obviously see more of, I assume, One for All and whatever happens here. Because I assume what's going to happen is now Deku's going to start learning some of the previous owners' like skills and abilities. So I wonder what's the next one he's going to get, right? That's also going to be very, very curious to say the least. But yeah, it was a great episode in my opinion. I think it was a good starting episode, getting two sides of the coin, one from the Todoroki family, and then of course starting off with Deku as well. You know, not forgetting he's still the main character of the series, right? Overall, very solid. I think that was a good start in my opinion.
I love good exposition, man. I love good exposition, and that's exactly what we got. It was just good, solid exposition.
I completely agree with you on that one. But yeah, let's talk a bit about the, before we wrap up and our final thoughts, OP and ED. What did you think about the opening and the ending of the episode? Sorry, I should say.
So I skipped the end songs.
Wow.
But I love the opening.
Okay.
I love the opening.
Fair enough.
I listened to it both episodes. I listened to the first one, and I was the second one. I was like, I'm not over it yet. Some shows I'm like, cool. I listened to it once, I'm done.
Yep.
But this one I'm like, nah, give me another listen. I need some more flavor from this song.
Yep.
I love it. It's fun. I know the context of this season, so it's just like overall, like I don't want to spoil things, of course, but for what the context of the season is, it's a fun opening, and it's fine. It fits everything. I like it a lot.
Yep. No, I can kind of agree with you that the opening, I really like the visuals. They're fantastic for what it's setting up to be, because we kind of knew that from what I knew from like the previews and whatnot, it was going to be setting up to be basically class 1A versus 1B and whatnot. Yep. And of course the preview episode basically said that as well, right? So I'm not too mad about the visuals of the opening. I'm not a completely 100% like with the opening song itself. I'm okay with it.
There's better songs.
I agree.
There's so many better anime openings, so many.
But
it's good.
When I'm thinking of anime openings and and rating them, I should say, I rate them with their like the same OPs within the same series. So like MHA's other OPs is what I'm comparing it to, and I just find the other openings to be a bit better. Somewhat. But I do love the ED. The ED is fantastic. The ending is great. I really liked it. The song is fantastic. Really, really like it. Probably one I will probably listen to before, as the episode ends. No, I highly recommend it. It's very, very good. But yeah, that's our thoughts on the opening and ending. I don't think there's anything else to cover in terms of the episode or anything. So any final thoughts before we wrap up, Shin?
No, I'm just excited to keep watching this. I need to get back up on the manga. I like to be ahead of the anime, and now it's caught up. And I've been really slacking on the manga, like really slacking. So I gotta read it more.
100%.
But yeah, no, I thought the episode was really nice. I'm excited to keep watching this.
No, that's it. I 100% agree. It's going to be a great couple of episodes coming in front of us. Next week we will probably have somebody else with us to review the episode. Shin's going to be taking a bit of a breather, so be on the lookout for the next guest for this review. But yeah, that's all from us today. Leave a like if you enjoyed this review. Comment down below what did you guys think of episode 0+1 and what you guys want to see from the rest of the season. And of course, subscribe for more anime-related content. It's been Gale and the Platinum Shin. We will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.
See ya.